Hey CAD 200. Couple things with your Inventor. We need to start practicing constraining of your sketch geometry. So let's look at this first one here that we're doing. Let me find it here. Where'd it go? Alright, so the first one is the incline. So it's going to look something like this. Alright, notice how this student, everything is green. Alright, this tells me that this entire sketch is not constrained. It's basically, these are called dimensional constraints, and all of these up in here are called geometrical constraints. So let's start a new sketch. Let's start a 2D sketch. Not on this one. Let's do a new. We're just going to use a regular IPT. Alright, the first thing that you want to do is select your plane. I'm going to select the XY plane. I'm going to right click. I'm going to put new sketch. Notice that right here in the middle, this is basically 0, 0. So I'm going to start a line that snaps there. Okay, I'm going to bring it out. Looks like for some reason we're in millimeters. But I'm just going to draw some reference geometry here. Over to here, down to here. Okay, notice that only one piece of geometry is constrained, or blue, fully constrained. So if I do this, if I take, I'm going to go ahead and put me a dimension on there. Then I'm going to put me a dimension. Notice that as I go around dimensioning it, alright, it turns blue. It's because I started everything with a constraint right here. Alright, it's called a coincidence constraint. Alright. Since I went from this one that was already constrained to that one, so it automatically constrained that one. Now watch. If I go from here, let's go from here that's already constrained to here, and it's going to constrain that top piece. Alright. Notice what color it turned. Alright. Same way with, so I can now do this one to this one. Alright. Constrained. And these are a little different, the angles. You could try to put an angle in there and it should constrain it. Alright, so notice that everything here is in blue, or fully constrained. Now there's another way to do this. I don't like this way. This is a automated constraint, but the way it puts things on here, which dimensions required, none, basically. So this one's already fully constrained. Let's say, for instance, let's take this constraint off. Now let's go to fully constrained. Alright, there's one that has to be applied. We're going to hit applied. Alright, this is one way of doing it. The only thing about this is quirky. It's quirky. It doesn't always work correctly. So you're better off to go ahead and do the constraints on your own. Put them on there manually. These are called dimensional constraints. Anytime you put dimensions. Now let me show you. Let's get rid of this one. Let's delete it. This is called, say I want this to be parallel. I'm going to use this parallel. This is called geometric constraints. I want this parallel, these two lines parallel. This says it's going to over constrain because I have this dimension on it right here. So let me take this dimension off. Alright, let's see if that parallel will work now. Nope, so there's another, maybe this one that's driving that. You can't combine too many constraints. Nope. Alright, so there's something else constraining that. Sometimes I know that you hit show constraints. Notice that it's already got a perpendicular constraint. These are geometrics. It's got one there, got one there, one there, one there. So that's why it's not letting me actually do a parallel from here to here. Look, that one right there says it's grounded because I started from this point right here with this first line. Okay, so you can. I'm gonna turn these off for a second, or you can click on it and delete that one if you wanted to. If I wanted to right click, hide all constraints, we're gonna hide them all. So let's go ahead and put this constraint back on here, this dimensional constraint. Say yes. And then of course just grab one that's constrained and one that's not constrained, say yes. Same here to here, say yes. Alright, now you can say show all constraints. Okay. And we also have one down here. This is a parallel constraint. Okay, so just make sure that all your sketches are dark. If they're dark, they're ready to extrude. So I'm going to finish sketch, extrude. You have to, I'm going to turn it a little bit here. Go home. Notice that there's an arrow here. If I wanted to go the other way with that, I could go that way. I could move that arrow this way or that way. Or I could just type in how thick I want it right here. Hit OK. And there's your solid model. Say you're ready to put a hole in here. We're going to start a new sketch. Start new 2D sketch. I'm going to slap it on there. I'm going to do a circle. Well, this is the circle way of doing it. You also have a hole command. Notice that it's green. All right, for everything, for the hose, you're going to have to, I'm going to take it from here to here. All right, and then you're going to need one across the X also. And you're going to need one more for that to be fully constrained. Bam. All right, notice what color it is. It's fully constrained. With hose, you always need the X, always need the Y, and you also need the size of the hose. So now this is ready to be cut. How do we do it? We finish sketch, go to extrude. This time we're going to do a cut, which is going to be this one right here, cut. And it's going to default all the way through, hit OK, and you're done. Okay? So just some tips, guys, on constraining your 2D geometry. Any questions, let me know.